And a special thank you to the man, Jerry Lynn. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight. Fantastic interview. It's one of those, I've said this many times before, one of those learning tree interviews. I love interviewing legendary names who've been in the business for quite some time. I personally love it. I love it. I love interviewing people. Some of my favorite people to interview is I've interviewed Greg Gagne a few times. I've interviewed Superstar Bill Dundee. Just a bunch of people. Bobby Fulton. Just a bunch of people who have been in the business for 20, 30, 40 years. What's up, Jamie? Kevin Sullivan. I just interviewed Kevin Sullivan a couple of weeks back. Just people who've been in the business for a long time that really has so much so much insight to share. And Jerry Lynn is one of those people who's been in the business for 30 years and still. I just saw him. What was it? I was doing some coverage WrestleMania weekend, so it was Friday, I believe I saw him. He was a special guest referee at an event that I was covering. Speaking of that, thank you so much, everybody, for your amazing support during WrestleMania weekend. It was exhausting. It was very exhausting. But to do it again this year was fun. It was my first time actually in New Orleans as far as the city is concerned. I've been there. I've been there on a layover at the airport before, but I've never been in the city. So it was quite interesting. It was quite interesting, and it was fun and it was exciting. I was exhausted from day to night. I was working. I was either writing or I was setting up interviews, having meetings, or even having meetings with the show promoters to set up the interviews, and then going to the shows to conduct the interviews. So yeah, it was busy, but it was quite fun. I went Thursday. I went to some shows. Friday, I went to shows all weekend. WWE specifically, I went to. Friday, I went to the Hall of Fame. It was great. I covered that on Wrestling Inc. Saturday, I went to NXT. Also covered that on Wrestling Inc. as far as video. Sunday, I went to WrestleMania, and we'll talk about WrestleMania here in a moment. Real quick Hall of Fame thoughts before we bring in the co-host with the most. It was fun. It was interesting. It was good. I've had talks as far as comparison to last year because I was at the Hall of Fame last year too. As far as which one I like the best between this year or last year, I got to go last year. Angle's speech was amazing. I'm trying to figure out who else made the Hall of Fame last year. Let me find out. I'm trying to figure out who else. The tag team was the Rock and Roll Express. So their speech was awesome. Dudley's speech this year was really good too. Hall of Fame last year, as far as speeches are concerned, the headliner was Kurt Angle. Like I said, that was really good. Ron Simmons, I believe, was last year, wasn't he? No, Teddy Long. Ron Simmons was a few years ago. Teddy Long. Teddy Long's a real nice guy. I've had him on my show before, so I'm all, I was very much supportive of Teddy Long winning. Being in the Hall of Fame. DDP was really good. Freebirds? Someone's saying Freebirds here in the chat. Freebirds was 16, I believe. Yeah. Scott saying Jinder versus Orton again just killed me now. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so it was Angle, Teddy Long. Yeah, Beth Phoenix was okay. Ivory, I think Ivory was a better speech than Beth Phoenix. Rick Rude was really good. So there were only 5 people individually last year. Very interesting. Only 5 people this year. Oh, okay. So there were 5 people this year too. So it's been 5. 16 was 5. For some reason, it seemed like it was a lot more. Okay, so there were 6 and 15. Okay. 6 and 15. 14 had 6 individual. No tag team. So someone saying Hillbilly Jim, let me tell you a story over and over and over. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny that you said that because he opened up his speech because it's the show started to get a bit stretchy quite early. The Dudley speech was really good. I'm glad that they opened because it was a good speech, but the rest of them was just it was tough. Last year was pretty good. Yeah, last year was pretty good. I would say everybody's. I mean, Beth Phoenix is amazing, but her speech was okay. DDP's was really good. Yeah, if someone's saying Royal recipients, yeah, last year was Eric LeGrand. This year was JJ Robertson. JJ Robertson's his speech was really really good. Last year we the live crowd couldn't hear Eric LeGrand. I watched it back on the network and you could hear him, but the live crowd, we couldn't hear him at all. This year, Henry's speech was amazing. Jerry should fight Nicholas. I'm sure that match will be quite over. Kid Rock, he was short. The live crowd popped because he was short. So that was great. I saw everybody loved Mark Henry's speech as far as the live crowd's concerned. People kept yeah, I was there last year too. Yes. People kept clapping for Hillbilly Jim because he told story after story, and it's funny because he started the show. He started his speech with saying, "I've said that out there many times. Out there is meaning the crowd," and he said, so I'm going to be concise. I'm going to be short and concise, and he was long. So he failed to uphold his end of the bargain as far as being short, because he was not short, but it was some good stories shared. I got some comments here saying Mark Henry is right on one for Hall of Fame. Absolutely, he's politicking Owen Hart to be in the Hall of Fame, and I agree with him. I think Owen should be in the Hall of Fame, and I think that he deserves every single bit of it. I think next year, Owen Hart 100% should be in the Hall of Fame. I think I said a few names. I said Owen Hart, Christian. I said this when I was live, Facebook Live. William Regal, Owen Hart, Christian. Christian got "You Deserve a" chance, by the way, and I started that chant. So when you hear the "You Deserve a" chant for Christian, I was the first person to say that. You know why? Because I do it for you. Oh, early in the show, ladies and gentlemen, there it goes. But yeah, I was the first person that started the "You Deserve a" chant, and that was pretty cool. So there's your history when you look at the 2018 Hall of Fame. So, but yeah, I agree. I started because I felt it. Christian deserves it, and I definitely think so. Granny is saying China. Yeah, I mean, what other women's wrestler would get inducted next year? I think it's China. So I think The Rock is going to headline, because every year they have to have like a black superstar. This year they had Mark Henry. Last year they had Teddy Long. Year before was The Godfather, I believe, in 2016. Yeah. Godfather and Jacqueline. Year before that, they had a minority, so Rikishi. They also had Tatsumi Fujinami. Carlos Colon was the year before that. So they usually Booker T was the year before that. So they have a minority every year. Ron Simmons was in 2012. So they've been doing this for a while. 2011 was Abdullah the Butcher. Antonio Inoki for 2010. So they've had a black or a minority competitor in there for quite some time. I mean, we're going all the way back to 2009 was Coco Beware, Soul Man Rocky Johnson, 2008. So this trend has been going for over 10 years. There wasn't one, Mr. Fuji, but they try to have a black person in there every year for the past 10 years. So I think that The Rock will be, so I see Rock, Owen, so Rock, Owen, Regal, Christian, Bulldog. So there's 5. Rock, Owen, Christian, Bulldog, and Owen. And then the team, they usually have a team next year. I think the team will probably be, I'll say either Midnight Express or maybe, I'll say Midnight Express. I would lobby for the Fantastics. Jason is saying Demolition. Brandon saying it's only right to have The Rock. Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. The Rock should be in the Hall of Fame next year, and he should headline it. So as far as the team is concerned, probably, someone's saying Demolition, but Demolition they've been kind of involved in the concussion deal that they've been having. So from a legal standpoint, they're not at the right spot with WWE right now, brother. So yeah, I guess you have the Steiner brothers, which absolutely should go in, but the problem with that is that Steiner detests WWE. I've been in a conference call with Steiner, and he doesn't like the WWE, ladies and gentlemen. So that wouldn't be too cool. No, not quite. Not too cool. Eric Bischoff, Hall of Fame. I totally agree with that. I don't know if he'll get in next year. I totally think he should get in, but I don't know about next year. I think I have the 5, but as far as team, someone's saying DX. I was thinking DX, but that would put Michaels in twice. Flair did twice. Maybe the NWO. Yeah, I think the DX would go in before NWO. But the problem with that is that Triple H, that means that Triple H would go in as a group before he goes in individually. So, not quite. New Age Outlaws. No. Let's bring in the co-host with the most. Evan Tech Proud. Let's get in. Let you get in the conversation with this. What tag team is going to be in the Hall of Fame next year?
Oh man, tag teams. That was tough. Midnight, are they in?
Nope.
Midnight Express needs to be in. This is my thing. And to me, anybody knows me, Featherstone, then my number one favorite tag team, of course, you're going to say the Road Warriors, but my T13 is the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express over any tag team in history. I feel like Cornette should have been inducted with the Midnight first.
Yeah.
They did have Cornette induct the Rock and Roll later. But anyway, why not the Midnight? It's got to be the Midnight Express.
Yeah.
Steiner hates the WWE.
He does.
But it's not.
Poor Rick. Poor Rick, because he doesn't have any beef with the WWE. Steiner's the one who's has so much heat with the WWE.
And something Flair told me before, and we talked to Flair backstage at a couple regional promotions. Most of the boys are more scared of Rick than Sky. Believe it or not.
The dog-faced gremlin.
Yeah, you don't mess with Rick. And granted, we've seen this weekend where Big Papa Pump ain't really as big. He kind of medium size. But hey, look, if Bruno can get into the WWE Hall of Fame, and thanks to Triple H.
Yep.
If Warrior could have been inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame.
Savage.
To Triple H and Linda. If Savage.
Yep.
Did Scott Steiner could. But, that's not going to be for a while. But it got to be the Midnight Express. Why not? Cornette is Cornette, but he still has a relationship with WWE.
Yep.
Bobby Eaton looks good. He's quiet. But when Bobby talks, he talks extremely fast. Dennis Condrey and Stan Lane. It needs to be them four. And why not? Why not? It has to be. I feel it's due for them to be inducted next year. I'm with you.
I agree.
I feel the Steiner brothers need to be in. Harlem Heat, they got inducted already.
Well, Booker T did. Stevie Ray didn't.
Okay, Harlem Heat.
See, that would make Booker T a two-time Hall of Famer. See, I think they're real picky about having two-time Hall of Famers, and I think because Ric Flair is the only two-time Hall of Famer, and I think.
But you know what? Within the next 10 years, the fans listening can say this. Can agree with this. It's going to be more than two. It's going to be more within the next 5 to 7 years. Pancakes and Powerslams will be still going on. Under the Mat Radio will still be going on. It's going to be multiple two-timers. Flair's two-time with the Horsemen and itself. Hogan will be two-time. Nash will be two-time. Hall will be two-time. Triple H, Shawn Michaels. It's going to be multiple legends with 2 rings because of the success that they've had with a singles career and or a tag team or a stable.
Yeah, that makes sense, but I think that WWE would be very. I think all the people that you name has a very good chance of being two-time Hall of Famers, but I think WWE is really leery of having two-time Hall of Famers. I got a bunch of got a bunch of people saying New Age Outlaws. See, the thing is with New Age Outlaws, I see a Killer Bees here too. Killer Bees would make more sense than New Age Outlaws. The only thing is, I mean, I guess since the Bushwhackers made it, the Killer Bees should because, although the Bushwhackers has the thing is before Bushwhackers has a better argument because they had, 20 years of experience before they came to the WWE. And multiple titles. The Killer Bees, they formed in the WWE for the most part. I remember it was I was just recent. I remember watching the Black Saturday episode when Vince McMahon bought Georgia Championship Wrestling, and he actually showed a WWE show on WTBS that day. And they had an interview. Gene Oakler was interviewing your boy Brian Blair, and he was I forgot who he was tagging with, but it wasn't Jim Brunzell. I've had Jim Brunzell on my show a couple times, and he was he shared a lot with as far as he shared a lot on the show as far as just like teaming and things like that, because he was teaming with Gagne for a bit. And yeah, I mean let me see, what was I forgot their name. I forgot their name in AWA. High Flyers, I believe it was, wasn't it? Let me check it. I think it was called that. I think they were called the High Flyers back in AWA. So Brunzell had the the High Flyers. Yep. So the Killer Bees was just kind of like an enhancement WWE tag team. I mean, they weren't anything else other than that. People saying the Head Shrinkers. Head Shrinkers. No, I don't think they had a long enough career to be on there, to be in there. Midnight. Real quick, someone's agreeing with you, saying Midnight Express with Cornette. I agree with that. Hollywood Blondes. No. The Brain Busters. No. No, I wouldn't say that either.
It would have to be Cornette, Eaton, Condrey, and Lane. It has to be all four. I have the and you know, Featherstone, I do not purchase a lot of wrestling memorabilia, but I have signed that Midnight Express 25th anniversary book. I've talked to Cornette multiple times off air. I've talked to Stan Lane. I've talked to all three members. Midnight Express is, I still say, after the Road Warriors, Midnight Express and Rockwell Express is 2A.
They won't. I don't think they'll induct Condrey though. Just like they did with the Four Horsemen. Like they didn't induct the original Four Horsemen. They didn't induct Ole. They induct Wyndham instead.
It's reasons and political reasons why Ole didn't get inducted.
Good old Ole.
But Condrey doesn't have, I mean, why not for Condrey doesn't have any heat with anybody, any of the boys. And he, you know, like Stan Lane doesn't do much in the business. So I talked to him at the end of this year at WrestleCade, and he was in North Carolina. And he stays to himself. He shows up to stuff.
You talking about Condrey or you talking about Condrey?
No,
Stan Lane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like Condrey doesn't have any beef, or as you were saying, the business any heat with anyone.
Yeah.
So why not bring him and induct him? Ole has a lot of heat still. Same thing. Dynamite Kid hasn't been inducted.
Right.
Sadly, will not be inducted.
Right.
And so sadly, the day he passes away, or because he has tons of heat. So, I feel Condrey should be inducted too. Now, let's be honest here. Look at DX. Who got inducted with DX?
No one yet, but I think they'll do Shawn. See, that's the thing. They'll probably just do Shawn and Triple H. Yeah, Outlaws too.
This is no slight to the person because he's a fan of our shows. I've talked to him multiple times. Like he walked past us at Mania, X-Pac. I mean, come on now. When I believe Shawn Michaels got inducted, X-Pac came out.
Yeah.
Really, if you're going to throw X-Pac in DX.
Well, that's there's the click too. So that's one of the reasons why he came out.
Which is fine, because at some point X-Pac is going to get a ring. He's going to get some with DX.
Yeah, probably DX.
He doesn't really deserve the NWO. So
yeah.
That's my point. X-Pac is with the click, and you throw him out there with DX. But it's kind of like if you're going to do that, you gotta bring Condrey into Midnight. There would not be a Midnight Express if it wasn't for Condrey.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think Condrey makes sense. I just don't think that the WWE will acknowledge Condrey being a part of, just the Hall of Fame version of the Midnight Express. And so, yeah, someone saying Sean Walkman equals ratings killer. Someone saying the Nasty Boys. No.
Now let's look at this schematically. The Bushwhackers has never won a WWE tag title. Bushwhacker Luke, if I'm right, or Butch, the notorious record of the quickest elimination in the Rumble. But yes,
yeah, Luke.
Mainly because of their marketability.
Butch, yeah.
I'm friends with the man, Coco Beware.
Yeah.
In the WWE Hall of Fame, and it's not about wins and losses because marketability around that time you knew him because everybody was a cat character, and with the Nasty Boys would be in one that their whole culture.
Maybe I wouldn't say anytime soon because yeah. Oh. Someone's saying, okay, so I was talking about minorities. They usually have a minority a year, specifically black person a year. Someone's saying Hacksaw Butch Reed.
I was going to mention that.
Perhaps.
I'll talk to you. We talk about this all day, and I didn't mention the Ron Simmons. Hey, Hacksaw Butch Reed.
Yeah, I can see that.
And to the younger fans that don't know, Hacksaw Butch Reed was in WWF. It was about 86, 87. No, sorry, 88 if I'm right. He had the blonde hair.
Yep.
He had the little run. And then he went to the NWA, was there.
Yeah. And before that, he was a main event talent in Mid-South.
Mid-South, right, exactly. Mm-hmm. Right. What about Sweet Brown Sugar?
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a controversial pick for Sweet Brown Sugar. She would. Hey, listen, she was gonna pop. She'd get a pop from all the people who protested for Moolah to be in the name for the Battle Royal this year. So she'd get a pretty good pop if she was in there next year. So I see Bulldogs. Someone's saying put British Bulldogs in. They refuse to put Davey as a single, so do the team. They were awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think Davey as a single would be much more probable than them going as a team. Earthquake and Tugboat, no. I can see Luger going in eventually. Probably not the next few weeks, few years. Someone saying Doom, no, because that would make Ron Simmons twice. I don't see that. Bad News Brown, absolutely. I can see Bret Hart inducting Bad News Brown. Yeah, very interesting chat there. Very interesting. All right. First trivia question for tonight. Who did The Undertaker defeat at WrestleMania 21? Who did The Undertaker defeat at WrestleMania 21? All right. Just some live notes from WrestleMania. Let's see. Someone saying, how is Mike Rotunda not in? I could definitely see Rotunda being in soon. Sooner than later. No, not VK Wall Street. Not the NWO Rotunda. For sure. That ain't gonna happen. Man, what NWO was terrible, man, when they got so diluted and everybody was in there. Yeah, someone saying smoking guns. No, that ain't gonna happen. So what are your
Mm-hmm. My lovely girlfriend, soon to be fiance, and first man that did a great job. We actually ran into Hillbilly Jim at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff Jarrett spoke to him and took pictures. Hillbilly Jim, nice dude, man. The nicest guy.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of positive things about him.
Galloway, your buddy. Oh yeah, Hillbilly Jim's great.
Yep.
Probably the nicest guy. Probably up there with Tugboat. Same plan as
Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred. Tugboat. You said Drew Galloway? Or Drew McIntyre, I guess we should say. Yeah. Yeah, very nice guy.
didn't really realize. I mean, I met Drew before. You know, I was a wrestling fan. You could tell he was tired, and Kyle was more energetic. Drew looked tired. He just, you know, he sat all the way in the back of the plane on his laptop. He allowed no one really recognized who he was. He didn't even wear a mask or anything or a hat. He just was to himself, which was cool.
Mm-hmm. I saw Jimmy Hart going back to my layover. I saw Jimmy Hart, and it was and Jimmy Hart and Gerald Briscoe.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have not seen on TV in a long
time. Right. Right. And he looks aged now. He looks a lot older than we saw him years ago. Oh.
Like 1956.
Yeah.
Oh man, his face. He looks so. And Brad, seriously, we praying for you. He looks so stressed.
Yeah.
I was sitting and talking to Flair and Bischoff. And Flair looks good compared to after his close quarters with Death.
Mm-hmm.
Flair looked like he picked up weight. He starting to look more like Flair. Brett, man.
Yeah.
That he looks aged and stressed, and he looks so tired. And by the way, I had no idea. Edson got so skinny, and unless he done lost the weight, but gosh, the nicest guy. I waved at the table. He looks so thin.
Yeah. Yeah, he has got quite thin.
But not in a bad way.
Someone saying how Sullivan not in. Jason, listen to my show. Listen to the Pancakes and Powerslams show with Kevin Sullivan in there. A couple weeks ago, last week, 3 weeks ago. Pancakes and Powerslams. Pancakes and Powerslams. Kevin Sullivan. Go check it out, and you'll see. He'll answer your question. I asked him that as well. Why has Sable not have been inducted? Politics, perhaps, but I can see her in soon though, especially being Brock Lesnar's wife. Locks looking fresh, Justin says. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah. What are your WrestleMania thoughts, Evan?
I went back and watched it earlier today, and like you, of course, they added a lot with the 3D elements, with the viewing,
yeah,
with the viewers at home, which I did agree with. There was, of course, things we didn't notice being there live. I thought the show was solid. I would say not better than 33.
Nope.
Because 34 is solid, and I give it overall about a BB plus. It was long. The crowd, you was there. I was there. My girlfriend was there. It was exhausting. The crowd was exhausted, and it was a couple of matches, unlike 33, where it was like bathroom breaks. Even I feel, I'm sure we'll talk about later. The Daniel Bryan match, at some point, the crowd just lost interest.
Yeah.
This thing. The emotional toll between Asuka and Charlotte, and then the Triple H Ronda match. After that, the crowd just got tired.
Yeah.
By the time they made event, and I don't know if it's okay to say now, I've been to about 4 or 5 WrestleManias. Son of Featherstone, you've been to what? This your second one?
Yep.
I've never left a WrestleMania. I've never seen this before, even with Taker. It was complete silence after the Rock and Reigns.
Yes.
Complete silence.
Yeah.
Even last year with Taker, when people was crying, but people still ain't know it. It was like, Dad, Taker could be it. It's crying, sniffles, but literally 80,000+ people got quiet. Nothing was said.
Yeah.
Walking to the hotel room. People was chanting New Day or Rusev Day, your favorite. But it was just quiet. It was more like, who's Nicholas? Who is he? Ronda Rousey looked good. But from leaving the seats to outside to the car or people walking, it was utter silence. The way the ending pyro, 3 people off guard, it was like, that's right.
Yep. I think because a lot of people were still anticipating something, they weren't ready for that ending. The finish was so odd. It was so bad. And people were. I remember when I was going up, because we sat in the front right. We were sitting in the first row behind the floor, the very first row in the front. And so when we were going up to the exits, there was a bunch of people that were looking at the ring still, standing up, waiting for something to happen. And then the pyro came up, and it shocked a bunch of people because they weren't ready for it. We got a bunch of good comments in here. Someone's saying best man in a long time. That is a very rare opinion. NXT pay-per-view was 10 out of 10 stars. I wouldn't give it 10 out of 10. I think NXT totally smoked Mania, and I was there at NXT Takeover, and it was absolutely amazing. I think it totally just destroyed WrestleMania. Someone saying, Chris is saying NXT was better than Supercard of Honor. Good point, Jamie. Instead of Nicholas being Strowman's mystery partner, if they wanted to do the kid thing, because people were saying it might have been a Make-A-Wish kid, some type of emotional involvement, but it was Jim Coney's John Coney's kid. I mean, it was a referee's kid, ladies and gentlemen. It was a referee's kid. It wasn't anything. I mean, he got a huge pop from the live crowd, but I mean, it's a WrestleMania crowd. I mean, I wasn't a fan of the live crowd, and a lot of times I wasn't a fan of in a lot of moments of the live crowd, because I know a lot of wrestlers, and I've interviewed over 100 wrestlers here on the show. I've maintained a really good relationship with a lot of them, and I hear a lot, and I know a lot, and the amount of effort that people bust their butts to make sure that us as paid fans are getting entertainment, and for fans to crap on that because of beach balls, listen, people, the argument is, I paid my ticket so I can do what I want. Bull crap. You won't go to a theater show, you won't go to a play and start heckling. You'll get your butt tossed out. And you won't go to an Academy Award show and start throwing beach balls around. Your butt will get tossed out. I don't care. It's one of those things that just because you bought a ticket doesn't entitle you to do or whatever you say. There's still security guards there. If you come walking down, the ramp and pass a certain point, that's a felony, and it's criminal trespassing. So you'll get your butt beat up by the wrestlers. We've seen it plenty of times. Watch it on YouTube. And so, there's still restrictions, and there's still things that you can't do as a fan. Listen, the chants and all that stuff, I understand that. But at the same time, if it wasn't for those wrestlers, I mean, you can reciprocate it. If it wasn't for the fans, the wrestlers wouldn't be, who they are. But at the same time, we're here as fans. We're here to watch the wrestlers. And if you're going to crap all over a match, just leave. And that's my point. And this is the Pancakes and Powerslam show, so I can say whatever I want. And I believe that. And if you want a little bit more credibility, so to speak, Chris Jericho feels the same way. He said the same thing before on one of his shows, and I 100% agree with him. And it's one of my, and I believe that. I believe that you have these wrestlers who bust their butts. Roman Reigns, when he went out there, we'll get to Raw in a minute. Roman Reigns, for the fans who crapped all over him, Roman Reigns had a knot the size of a daggone tennis ball on his forehead, and because he wanted to make sure that he was busting open the hard way, that Brock Lesnar busted him open like he did Orton, and he came out with actually had 2 knots on his forehead. He did that for the same fans who crap all over him, and that bothers me. That bothers me, and the whole beach ball thing, trying to get that over, kill that, man. It's ridiculous to me.
I agree with you on that. Same seat as you. Fans, you listen to this great show and listen to mine. It's we know tons of pro wrestlers. WWE, current WWE, Ring of Honor, Impact, TNA, all down the list. WCW, AWA. We keep in contact with these guys after they've been on our shows. We know these guys. Some of these people, we met their families. We talked to them off air. Some of these people, these wrestlers and superstars, we've talked to them from a personal level. Even has nothing to do with wrestling. And I agree with you with the fan base. It takes so much hard work that goes into. And I was explaining this to my girlfriend about when she asked me. She said, "Babe, how come they gotta get to the arena early? The show doesn't start." And I said, they gotta rehearse things. They got promos. And I was explaining to her because she doesn't really watch wrestling since the Attitude Era. But she's not dumb to the business, but it's something she just doesn't know. So when I explained to her like what it takes for us rehearsing and getting ready for a match, and she respected it. She said, "Oh wow, that's cool." And that's a slap in the face. So like I said, if you go to a play, I've been to Broadway in New York. You do that to Broadway, see what happens.
Right.
You go to the Oscars,
the boat be tossed out.
However, though, with the main event, that's WWE's fault as well, because WWE could have booked. And like you said, you got to give Roman Reigns respect. I'm not the biggest Reigns fan, but I respect the man. WWE could have booked that match better. And that's
I agree.
They take the blame for that too. I'm of course, the Rusev Day chants, they get on my nerve. One single thing, fans chant, "This is awesome." It's a spot.
Right. After 2 minutes, just this is awesome. Oh. As a matter of fact, you know what? As a matter of fact, this is what marks get for now. There you go. Therefore, all those "this is awesome" crap chants.
They chanted it, and you and I was sitting. It was like it's one spot. Like but anyway, to my point, not to get off topic, is their main event. I feel like they deserve Beach Ball Mania.
No.
Because if it was booked a different way, and it is not Reigns' fault, you can't blame Reigns. And really, you can't blame Brock to a degree because it's who.
Well, here's the thing. Brock is sloppy in the ring. I'm not going to be the person that defends Brock Lesnar. That's not going to be me. He's sloppy in the ring. He's been there for 6 years now. He's not wrestled a single Raw or SmackDown. He wrestled all pay-per-views and a few house shows. He does suplexes, and that's really about it. And he's sloppy in the ring, and I'm not going to be the one who defends Brock Lesnar. You can tell, and this is what I don't like about it. He's an attraction. I like the fact that WWE's puts him. I like the fact that he comes in every few months or so. I think that every world champ should be like that. To be honest with you, because we gotta keep rolling because of the formatting for tonight, but I'm going to say this: AJ Styles is one of the greatest wrestlers in the entire world right now, but he is boring as crap as WWE champion, and it has nothing to do with him. He's AJ Styles is absolutely amazing, and in ring, out of the ring, nice guy, just a quintessential WWE superstar. He can have a match. He can have a match with a corpse and get pops, you know. But at the same time, it's one of those things that you see him all the time, every single week, wrestling. What is there? What is there to anticipate the WWE champ? Because with Hogan, you would have the interviews, you would have the moments, you would have the face-off, you would have the contract sign. You remember back in the day where it was like a table of people, and it was, you had the board in the ring, then you had President Jack Tunney, and you had like Gene Okerlund, kind of being the facilitator of it, and you had Hogan and you had Andre, and they were facing each other. And it was so much passion and intensity built in this contract signing that you wanted to see WrestleMania 3. But now it's just every single week you see the WWE champion every single week. And there's nothing about the WWE champion that's a dominant figure that looks different than everybody else. The WWE champion looks like everybody else. AJ Styles looks like everybody else. And that's the reason why he's been boring as WWE champion, because there's nothing about AJ Styles from a booking standpoint. Now, he can go in the ring. He's incredible in the ring. Nothing to do with AJ Styles. But from a writing standpoint, there's nothing about AJ Styles that looks different than anybody else on the roster. And if I'm looking at SmackDown or Raw, and I'm looking at it from just a character standpoint, if I'm looking at the show, right, and if I'm looking at it from a character standpoint, people who stand out. So I'm like, okay, so this person, if I get to guess who the WWE champion was based on the writing and the character development of a string of SmackDown Live episodes, I would not guess that it's AJ Styles. I just wouldn't, because there's nothing about him that separates him from everybody else. Someone saying here, like Zeus and Hogan face to face. I mean, exactly. And it had nothing to do with just 5-star matches. Nothing. And Zeus and Hogan. Zeus had his two hands, and his big thing was smashing his two hands on the head of someone or twisting someone's head. That was all that Zeus did. I mean, but people were more thrilled than that than an AJ Styles match nowadays. It's unfortunate. Still, I think that there might have been there's a lot of comments here. It might have been lost. Who did the Undertaker defeat at WrestleMania 21? I might have not saw the answer. I'm sure that people got it right. It's Kane. Next question on deck is who defeated Triple H to win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 21? Who defeated Triple H to win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 21? Someone's saying Orton, and that is not the correct answer yet. Go ahead.
It's about how you look. It makes the interview AJ. I've said they've done it with AJ literally a few weeks before he signed. with WWE. I love AJ to death. Great in the ring. Looks like
Batista's the correct answer. Good job, Brandon. Go ahead, Evan.
But I've also at a concussion gala sat down with some ex-WWE talents I do business with and got the honor of sitting down with Triple H and Bob Costas and Mike Adamle and Triple H, and I've talked to Triple H and shook his hand, a great guy. He looks like Triple H. He looks, you know what I mean? He doesn't look like he is a regular guy in his suit, but looking at Triple H, he looks marketable.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yep.
He doesn't look like a regular person.
Yep.
Say what you want about certain people. Brock does not look like a regular person. Roman Reigns doesn't look like a regular person.
Right.
Sting or Hogan.
Yep.
Or even people if he was
Flair. Flair. He's limousine rod, and he's better than everybody. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I mean, even the big heels that they would go against, like El Gigante, well, Giant Gonzalez at that point. Gigante was a babyface. Stud, Earthquake. I mean, you had all these people come in, and they weren't. They couldn't wrestle a lick. A lot of them, to be honest with you. But I mean, look at Abdullah. Abdullah Butcher carried forks for 40, 50 years. I mean, like. He couldn't do anything, but he's the Hall of Famer because he had a gimmick. Yeah. So, yeah. Real quick, thoughts on live thoughts on for WrestleMania. I was a big fan of the Bray Wyatt finish to Woken Matt Hardy. Real quick, next. Trivia question. Name 4 out of the 6 participants of the Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania 21. That's a big one there. 4 out of the 6 participants of the Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania 21. Cedric Alexander, we were talking like it was his character was so bland. It wasn't anything to be excited about. Mustafa Ali had a really, really cool character, had a kind of a Sub-Zero feel to him. From a character standpoint, Ali beat Alexander because he just came out so bland in his normal tights. I mean, I don't know. I think that Cedric Alexander should have came out as Black Panther, like in a Black Panther type of garb. I think that would have been really, really cool. They popped for Naomi when, yeah.
Always had his outfits going by whatever the biggest,
right.
Marvel and DC character was, or whatever was in pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a question here. Will you be at the next Money in the Bank pay-per-view? No, I don't plan on being on. I was at Fastlane in Mania, March and April. So I've got some media stuff for SummerSlam. So maybe, but yeah, it just depends. Oh yeah, so people just real quick, people pop hard for Naomi when they pop for Bayley, and then they pop for Naomi when she kind of looked like, hey, I'm not eliminated yet, so that was pretty cool. Pop for Rollins when he won, the crowd was really into that. Crowd was shocked, but still popped for Charlotte when she won. United States Championship match was flat, other than the Rusev Day chants. Mixed tag match was probably the match of the night. I would say it was the longest match of the night. And it was, to me, it was the match of the night, not necessarily the best, so to speak. And someone's talking about Rollins. You know what? Real quick, I am. I was very anti-Rollins when he was a heel because I thought it was just, I just didn't like him. His promos just wasn't. But I Rollins is one of my favorite wrestlers right now. There's something that's really connected with me for this underdog babyface gimmick that I think it fits Rollins so much because he did it in ROH when he was Tyler Black. I mean, this is how he won the ROH World Championship. He had this same type of gimmick, this really kind of gritty, workaholic type of underdog type of gimmick that he did, and he's doing the same thing now. And to me, it's really connecting, and the fans are connecting with it too. They really like him. But Ronda Rousey, ladies and gentlemen, wow. She showed out. To me, Ronda Rousey's the MVP of WrestleMania 34. She did a fantastic job. She definitely didn't look like this was her first match in WWE history. Yeah, she did. She looked as if she was a pro. Of course, you can poke holes at a few things, but for it to be her first match, she did phenomenal. She did so good, and you could tell that she's been watching wrestling for a long time because the facials are a big deal as well. I mean, she had the facials together, she had the cadences together, she had the entertainment part. She knew how to suck the crowd in. She had it. She did a phenomenal job. Kudos to Ronda Rousey because she nailed it. And she had a really good supporting cast by the three of them. And I said this before on my show. I said this match was to put Ronda Rousey over. Someone saying Stephanie really sewed. Yeah, kudos to Stephanie too. I think Stephanie did she did a phenomenal job putting Rousey over. So did Triple H, letting her, put him in a fireman's carry and sell the arm deal, and it was good. I mean, from an entertainment standpoint, this was the match. The crowd was so heavy into this match, and I think, I was very critical of this match. I said this shouldn't have been the main event, but this could have been the main event. It would have been a much better main event than what we saw. So I think the crowd kind of turned a corner after that. They were flat. I mean, the crowd were flat. Live crowd was flat during the SmackDown match. I took a picture of it, and just nobody cared that the Bludgeon Brothers won, which was bad. They popped for Taker. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nobody cared about the tag. The Taker thing, even though he stretched it, and also the other MVP of the night is Elias. My girlfriend just sent me a text. I didn't know Elias did a concert on Bourbon Street.
Yep.
One of our friends that told us Elias is the MVP team of Ronda Rousey. He's getting rubs from everyone that's huge.
Yep. Yep.
You get fans that in the area of anime, some of the big anime fans, conventions called cosplaying.
Yep, cosplay. Yep.
Cosplaying is when you dress up as your favorite character.
Yep.
Maybe wrestling or whatever. The three biggest cosplayers at conventions of wrestling, any wrestling show, you always will see Hogan, Savage, and Sting.
Mm-hmm.
But you also will see, people as Angle or the Dudleys. But right now, currently, a lot of people are dressing up as Elias.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the hotel with WWE, and we saw Elias get out. Your boy Jinder Mahal. They were great people. What with Elias? People had guitars. People had signs.
Yeah.
Even though he's a heel, he's great at getting heat. He's probably the second best behind the Miz right now in the whole WWE as a heel. Give it to Elias. Elias is getting rubs and heat.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I can see him as a mid-card champ real quick. Brandon, Edge, Christian, Kane, Kane and Shelton Benjamin. Good job. Great job. Jericho, Edge, Benjamin, Christian Benoit, and Kane. Next question. Who retained the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 20? who retained the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 20. All right, we gotta just steam through these. All right, so someone saying that Taker Cena was too short. I disagree with that. I think it was perfect. I didn't want to see a long Taker match. I think the send off was really good last year. I listened to the show every week. I was very, very, very critical of Taker coming back, but this was a good way of bringing Taker back to squash Cena, to get redemption, for losing the reigns in a sense, as far as just kind of reviving the importance of the streak, or just his WrestleMania presence, because losing to Lesnar and losing to Reigns, a few years after that, just really hurt Taker's WrestleMania presence. But I think the match with Cena and it being less than 3 minutes long, it was perfect. It was in and out, and it was good. Of course, they were they popped for Shane, definitely popped for Bryan, and popped for Bryan when he won. But they, the crowd was kind of getting tired at this point. They popped for Jax a lot. They popped for Jax real good. Pop for Nakamura's heel turn because it was unexpected. But yeah, Eddie Guerrero, good job, Eddie Guerrero. Pop for Nicholas. Someone's saying, Austin, I was hoping for ABA to return. No, I wasn't. I'm glad that he didn't. He's 52 years old, 53 years old, and no, I don't want to see a 53-year-old come out in the bike, riding a bike down the ring. What was Taker? I think Taker is 53. If I'm not mistaken. Let me check. The Undertaker is 53 years old. Yeah. So as I said, they popped for Nicholas, which I share my thoughts on Nicholas. Like someone saying, the Warrior Award winner JJ Robertson should have been the partner instead of Nicholas, which I agree. I think that would have been fantastic. That would have been amazing, actually. Yeah, 53, 65, more than 65. And then, that crapped on Lesnar versus Reigns, and we talked about that. So those are the live notes of WrestleMania. We only got a few minutes left, so let's just tackle these headlines real quick. So let's get to these headlines. Here we go. Here we go. Next trivia. What type of match was Victoria versus Molly Holly at WrestleMania 20? What type of match was Victoria versus Molly Holly at WrestleMania 20? All right, I'm going to read them all together. So Alberto El Patron released from Impact Wrestling and no-show the Impact versus Lucha event. Typical, unfortunately. John is saying that would have been good. He would have definitely been more active than the other kid. Yeah. Nope, not someone saying hair versus hair. Mandy saying hair versus hair. Not quite. So yeah, Patron, he got released because he no-showed, which unfortunately is not surprising. And I was in New Orleans, you were in New Orleans. There were sightings of Alberto El Patron. He was at events before the Impact thing, and then he no-showed that. So, there's some talks of him possibly coming to WWE, but that's definitely not a good way to leave Impact Wrestling, just no-showing one of their biggest events of the year. Ziggler shutting down rumors of resigning with the WWE. Reports of him signing for $1.5 million. He's saying that he's still negotiating. He said that his career is not helping that he loses all the time. So, unfortunately, Ziggler's so awesome as an in-ring competitor, but unfortunately, well, first of all, he wasn't even on SmackDown. But he's at the point now. Nothing to do with Ziggler. Again, the writing part. He won't be missed if he left. And so I'm hoping for Ziggler to have a successful career. Like he's doing stand up now. He's been on Fox Business and Fox News a bunch of times, so he'll have a successful career outside of the WWE. You know, he's getting that nice check to be to be a glorified enhancement talent. So it's unfortunate, but he's just not. He's gotten to the point where he's relatively a non-factor anymore. So that's really unfortunate. Impact Wrestling, Kurt Angle said TNA is not. He said, I heard TNA was hiring, so that was interesting. He brought in TNA on Raw. I think that's probably the first time that was ever been done on Raw, at least. I know that AJ Styles brought TNA up on the Edge and Christian show on the network. But yeah, that was interesting. And then Seth Rollins saying, you know, he kind of promoting a Shield reunion possibly may happening. We'll talk about the Shield. I've talked about the Shield before too, as far as just the Shield. Just it was a joke. It was an absolute joke, unfortunately. I mean, you know, you have the mumps, and got a comment said that was funny. I was surprised he said that. Yeah, that was really funny. Got another comment saying, "What's up with HBK's haircut?" Yeah, we were talking about that. It makes him look probably 8-9 years older. I mean, he's up there now. He's 54, I believe now. I think he was born in 64, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I think he was born in 65. I think Austin was born in 64. So yeah, he looks older with that cut, but it's kind of combed over now because when he had the long hair, the patent, you know, Shawn Michaels long hair. Yeah, he was born in 65. When he had this patent Shawn Michaels long hair, he had such a receding hairline that he was losing his hair really bad, and now he has it combed over. So yeah, Jeff Jarrett made fun of it at the Hall of Fame. He had a really good speech, by the way. And then Al Snow purchasing OVW. So I've had Al Snow on my show. I definitely wanted to send him a congratulations for purchasing Ohio Valley Wrestling. So yeah, what was the match? This is question on deck right now. What type of match was Victoria versus Molly Holly at WrestleMania 20? Someone said hair versus hair, and that is not quite right. So yeah, real quick, Evan, your Raw and SmackDown thoughts. Yes. Oh. As a matter of fact, real quick, that gets another one of these. Yeah, that was terrible. No build, no nothing, just a match. That was terrible.
That's all I'm saying on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Raw, you know, with Raw after Mania, too many people were like, you know, they really pump it up.
Mm-hmm.
The Raw after Mania was good. Was it the best Raw after Mania we've seen so far? No, but it wasn't a disappointment. Lashley showing up. Lashley paints his eyebrows. Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, there was a condition that he had, like a vitamin condition that he had a few years ago that caused his eyebrows. Yeah, he lost his eyebrows, and that's the reason why he wears the headband too, because he won't sweat. Well, so the sweat won't go down to his eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, and I forgot it. And, you know, we interviewed Lashley. You know, we did a video interview with him. We kind of got a little heads up, can't really post it, because that's when I kind of knew it was a leader. I think he signed with WWE. But Lashley's a nice guy. Lashley looks good. And once again, with Elias, I mean, that's still the C-Plex. And I'm hoping he can go back either the Dominator or something. Please don't do a spear. Please. We have enough spears in the business, like Super Kicks.
Yeah, he'll probably do a Dominator again. Yeah.
Yeah, good to see Lashley good to see the main event be the 6-man tag. Joe coming back. Reigns really showing. You gotta respect Reigns that nugget on his head.
Yeah. That big old knot. Mount Olympus knot.
So, and with the revival, shout out to the revival. They really haven't clicked much with the main roster audience, but the revival finally getting the win over Luke Gallows.
Well, they've beat them a few times though. They get wins. That's the thing. They get wins. They just don't connect.
We already know down the line they're going to lose to the Authors of Pain, and now that they're basically pushing Paul Ellering to the side, which I hope either you take Ellering back to NXT, have him groom someone else, or, hey, someone Nakamura's a heel. Take Ellering to someone that you want to put over that can't speak English, not really speak English well, or somebody that's not good mic skills. You got one of the last few lasting legendary managers. Use them.
Well, the reason why they did that was Ellering he doesn't want to travel. So when they got called up, he's done.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So real quick, Stephanie still. Here's the question. It was hair versus title. Someone saying I remember Molly putting her hair on the line. It was hair versus title match. Here's the next question. Who did the Rock and Sock Connection lose to at WrestleMania 20? Who did the Rock and Sock Connection lose to at WrestleMania 20? Let's see. How do I think? John is asking, how do I think the Shinsuke heel run would be? It'll be interesting. I wonder if he's going to keep his music though. I don't think he should keep his music if he does the heel run. I'm optimistic to it. I mean, I'm looking forward to see how it is. I think eventually he'll be a babyface again, but I'm interested to see how this goes. So someone's saying I heard that Brock and Vince got into a verbal altercation after his match and threw a chair. So there's no details about that, but he didn't throw a chair in his direction. He threw the belt at the. There's some reports saying the wall, and some saying his direction, and even saying, there was some reports saying there was a report saying that Shane stood up to Brock as if he was ready to fight him, and Brock walked away with Heyman. So there was an extension. It was short term, so most likely, and here's the thing. It makes sense. So we got a roll here. We got to get ready for the flavor of the week, but. The finish of WrestleMania, although WrestleMania should be the culmination of feuds, I stand by that. WrestleMania should be the culmination of feuds, period. However, their first partnership with Saudi Arabia with the Greatest Royal Rumble, April 27th, they feel as if that is something to kind of coronate Reigns bigger and better, which I understand. So in that logic, in that perspective, I understand, because Reigns is going to get cheered much more in Saudi Arabia. WWE is about getting footage. It's about creating packages, video packages. So you'll be in Saudi Arabia. You'll see all the people cheering Reigns when he beats Brock Lesnar in a steel cage match. That's a much better video package footage than him getting crapped on by beach balls at WrestleMania 34. So it ought to make sense. In that perspective, it makes sense. And let's see. Please give Lashley love and get EC3 to the main roster. Evolution is the correct answer. Good job, Brandon. I hope that, and okay, so we'll get, I hope that they finally give Lashley a chance to become world champ. So I really hope they kind of push him to the moon. He did his work in WWE. He's already proved himself. He's been U.S. champ. He's been ECW champ. He has a resume already built up. Did fantastic work. To me, did his best work in TNA as far as the character is concerned. So, all right. So real quick, I interacted with No Way Jose this weekend. He didn't say he remained tight-lipped about about coming to the main roster. I don't know why he was chosen. Maybe because of the time he's been in NXT. But why was No Way Jose? I mean, I loved Adam Rose. I've had Adam Rose in my show before. We've interacted plenty of times through text messaging, and I was pulling for Adam Rose, but it didn't work. I don't think No Way Jose. I don't think that's going to work, unfortunately. So, someone is saying me either. Sorry. Yeah, I mean that's how I feel. It's like kind of like, sorry. Like I mean, I feel the same way. Like, oh, I don't feel that No Way Jose is a good choice to come up to the main roster. Sorry. I mean, he did very poorly in NXT. I mean, Elias did poor in NXT too, and he worked on the main roster better, but I mean he's a heel and he's been a fantastic heel, but No Way Jose has the same exact character as he did in NXT, and it didn't work in NXT. So I mean he had like a mini feud with Austin Aries for a second, and then that was a while ago. That was really I think he had some interaction with Lars Sullivan for the hot second. But, yes, Mandy saying I don't think that part of gimmick will work on the main roster. Unfortunately, I don't either. Sasha and Bailey stuff more. They're dragging that out, so let's see where that goes. Paige gives us her retirement speech, and she's a GM on Raw now. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm glad that she had the opportunity and that she retired and gets that opportunity. I'm glad about that. But I don't know. I'm not buying all the way into it yet. I would have preferred someone like Jared, to be honest with you. We'll see. I'm on a we'll see basis when it comes to Paige being the general manager of SmackDown Live. I'm not sold on it yet. But I don't automatically declare. I don't say no. I don't have like a hard no, she shouldn't. So I'm kind of on the fence, more no than yes, but I'm willing to see how it works. Yeah, and Authors of Pain. So okay, so here's my deal with Raw, real quick. So many call-ups. So the Raw After Mania thing was nice, and it was a great show to me. It was exciting. However, you have that, and I've said this every year. Ladies and gentlemen. The Raw After Mania crowd is not the litmus test for WWE. It is not. You have people from all different kinds of countries, states, cities, everywhere coming to. I mean, they're the residuals from WrestleMania. So it's a very poor litmus test because most of them are going to go away from the city, and you'll be in a actual city next week with actual residents, and that's going to be your crowd. So having all these nice Raw After Mania shows, it really is it's a one-shot deal. So you're bringing all these people up. The question is, what are you going to do with them next week? So I'm not holding my breath when it comes to WWE properly booking most of these people they called up. So yeah, SmackDown was decent. Usos and New Day. I wonder what they're going to do with New Day. We'll see what the Superstars shake up next week. I hope they don't split them up. I mean, they should be in the Hall of Fame as a team. Period. But they've lost consecutive matches against the Usos. I'm a big New Day fan. They're my favorite tag team, but Usos is a fantastic team. So I'm interested in what they're going to do with the New Day. They haven't really done a really good job with them for a while now. I'm not a fan of that. And Shinsuke's backstage promo was funny. He got a couple laughs. He said, and at the end, he was like, sorry, I don't speak English. That was funny. Carmella cashing in. I think that was pretty evident when the Iconics used to be called the Iconic Duo. Now they're called the Iconics. They attacked Charlotte. I mean, they attacked them. This is what I thought. Real quick, this is what I thought. I said, okay, so now you have the iconic duo or the Iconics, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, and you have the Riot Squad who didn't appear on SmackDown. That was really weird. So you have the Iconic duo and the Riot Squad. So you just have 5 NXT stars. What do you do with them? So, and both of them don't like Charlotte, Iconic duo and Riot Squad. So you move Riot Squad to Raw, and definitely aren't ready for that type of stage. So, I mean, again, you can have all these people coming into this on the main roster, and you're not going to, I mean, what are you going to do with them? I'm not sold on the fact that they're going to be successful. And like, I agree with you, AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, just having them do a match was just, I wasn't a fan of that at all. I mean, the match was fantastic, but just no build, no story, no nothing. It was terrible. All right, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got a few moments left to do the flavor of the week. The top are our bold predictions. Each of us have 5 matches that we feel will occur at WrestleMania 35. This will be fun. We'll be right back.
It is now time for the flavor of the week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, 5 matches that we feel will be on WrestleMania 35. Evan, what are your 5?
Tough one on this one, man. That was big. Goldberg against Reigns. I feel if they build it up and don't high shot it, it could be Brock against Lashley. I was gonna say AJ against Daniel Bryan, but he already did it. No mean they can't redo it again. But I feel Daniel Bryan against The Miz.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Gosh, I lost my sheet of paper. I had 2 more. I do apologize, man. But you can go with Featherstone. I'll go look for my statistics.
Oh, no problem. So I got a question. Should the belt go back to Orton? I'm okay with him being U.S. champ again. But all right, real quick, here's my 5. I've got Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. I think they'll do some type of Shield thing there, probably for a mid-card championship. I also have Bobby Lashley against Lesnar. I also have Reigns and Goldberg. I've got Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And I've got The Undertaker versus Braun Strowman. So those are my 5. I think
Undertaker and Strowman, as my honorable mention, you got to take Strowman.
Yeah.
There's nobody else left.
I don't want to see Taker. Still. I still thank you, John. John was saying good ones. I don't want to see Taker at all. I still stand by that. I don't want to see Taker in another WrestleMania. But he looked in great shape. I will say that. And if he does come back, there's no one else who he can face. Really not. Someone's giving me a clap and said I should do the booking. Thank you. I would love to be a booker for the WWE. I would bring back some emotion and passion and storylines, ladies and gentlemen. But I think that Taker and Strowman should happen at 35. If he comes back, but I don't want Taker to come back, but making the assumption that he comes back. Someone's saying Taker and Joe. I wouldn't be opposed to that either, actually. I think Taker and Joe would be cool because I wouldn't want Taker to lose. But I think Taker and Strowman has a bigger marquee feel. But if you keep Strowman babyface, which, I mean, in a year from now, Strowman can go face or heel. But if you keep Strowman babyface, I wouldn't want to see face Strowman versus face Taker. And I think a Taker and Joe would be much better as far as Joe being a heel. But what was it?
Rock against Reigns.
Yeah, I think Rock and Reigns would be good. Yeah, I think Goldberg and Reigns. I think they didn't lose another match. Someone said that. I think Jericho said that. And I agree. Taker should not lose a single match again. Whatever match he competes, he shouldn't lose. He's done he's paid his dues. He's done all he can. Personally, I hope his last match is Survivor Series. It'll bookend his career. Debuted in Survivor Series 90, 28 years later. He retires at Survivor Series. But I don't want to see him at WrestleMania again. So, all right. I got a few questions left. We'll carry those over to next week. I think we're all set for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you so much for all the fun interaction. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the show, Jerry Lynn, tonight. That was a fantastic interview. Thank you so much. Someone said he was looking old. Yeah, Taker, I mean, he's 53 years old, so of course he's going to look old. He is old. So, yeah. There's only a few people who actually can get away with being Ivory's she's up there. She's in her 50s, and she doesn't look old. That's for sure. Yeah, people. I think she was on a Busted Open, I think, recently, and she was saying that people still card her, which was quite funny. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how old Ivory is, but she's up there. I think she's even older than Taker. 61. Yeah, so she'll be 57 this year. So, wow. Yeah, she'll be 57 years old, and they were saying she still gets carded. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of the festivities tonight. It's been so fun. Thank you so much, Jerry Landon, once again. Thank you so much, Evan Tech Proud, as always. Episode 315 in the books. The Pancakes and Powerslams, of course, for those looking at this. Yeah, Scott, very interesting that she said that. Very interesting. She was never married. So, yeah, very interesting. So, yeah, it was lots of fun. Thank you so much. God bless you all. 315 episodes in the books for Evan Tech Prout. This is Chris Featherstone. This is the Pancakes and Power Slam show. It's been an honor, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week, God bless you all. Thanks for joining. Enjoy your week of wrestling. And always remember, I do it for you. God bless you all. Have a good night. Bye-bye.